Here we go. ESPN Bet NFL odds. This is according to ESPN. They have the Texans underdogs by 8 whole points against the Kansas City Chiefs. And they got the over and under at 41.5 to 41.5. I think this might be under 41.5. Both offenses are relatively struggling. I understand what happened with the Chargers, but that was different. At the half, it wasn't very many points scored. I think it was like 10-6 or some shit heading into the third quarter. And then the Texans just finally broke away because the Chargers finally collapsed. I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs defense pulling that off, though. Their offense is struggling. Houston Texans offense is struggling. Their defense is not the best. It's still good. Houston Texans have a good defense, but the Kansas City Chiefs have an excellent defense. So it might very well be a Chiefs win for sure. But 8 points, that's crazy. That's crazy. I would take the under of 8 points, right? I would probably take the under. I think it's going to be a one-score game, be it a garbage time touchdown that makes it a one-score game. I just don't think the Chiefs are going to break away from the Houston Texans. I just don't think that's going to happen because that's pretty much what you're saying. You're saying here that it's going to be a two-score game if you take the over on that. So I wouldn't take the over on that situation at all. And then you got the 41.5. I'm going to take the the under on the 41.5. I don't think it's going to be a scoring fest. It's probably like 20-17 game, something like that, 2014, something weird like that, 21-14. So, yeah, but I definitely got, as of right now, I'm thinking Kansas City Chiefs. That's not official, though. That won't be official to the Wolfie and Poggy show on Friday. So, oh, shit, I didn't share it. There we go. Boop. All right, so these are the odds so you guys can see it. My bad. I thought I was showing it. Whoops. All right. So that's the odds for Houston Texans and Kansas City Chiefs according to ESPN. Washington Commanders at the Lions. 10-point favorites, dude. That's wild, man. That is cray-cray. Yes, that's right. I just said cray-cray. Took you back to the 2010s. Okay. That is cray-cray, dog. That is so not swag. Let me see if did the Lions play against the Commanders? I think the Lions played the Commanders earlier this year, didn't they? I could have sworn. Nope. It looks like I'm tripping acid. Rams, Bucks, Cardinals. They did not play the Commanders yet, so this could be a different breed. I don't know. I am a big fan of Jaden Daniels, and I really do want the Commanders to win. I truly, from the bottom of my heart, I want them to win. Heck, I want them to win the Super Bowl. But it's just such an underdog. They're like the biggest underdog of this entire playoffs. One of the biggest next to the Steelers before they got knocked out. Like the chance of that happening is slim to none. But I would want them to win out of all of them is the Commanders. Truly. I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels. I believe in him. Adam Peters is a former 49ers assistant GM. So we're kind of connected to that team a little bit. I'm a fan of Dan Quinn. I've always liked his defense. I even liked him as a head coach with the Falcons. I know some people want to hold it against him because that's Super Bowl, but I don't, man. I'm a fan of this team. I really am a fan of the Washington Commanders in this situation. So, but I just don't think they're going to do it. It's realistically, if I'd be real with myself, it would be hard for me to bet on it, right? It's what happens. So, Detroit Lions, they are favored by 10 points. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can see it compared to the Houston Texans Chiefs game. That one I feel like is going to be a one-score game for sure. So I would definitely take the under on that one, or at least the even or whatever it's happening, or 7.5 points. The Detroit Lions, 10 points. That is a lot. That is a lot of points. I understand the Commanders are underdogs. I understand they're not perfect. They just assembled their team together this year, so they would have to defy a lot of odds and a lot of expectations. But I would almost take that. Almost. Just because the Lions are so, their defensive coordinator and what they're doing with the pieces they got is phenomenal. That offense run by Ben Johnson is elite against the Washington Commanders team that is not perfect. They're not perfect by any means. And I just feel like the Lions could definitely take advantage of the Commanders. So this 10-point thing, it does seem like a lot, but the more I think about it, the more I believe it. The more I think it's possible that this could be a 2-score game for sure. The over-under being 55.5 points, man, that would have to be like because I can see the Commanders maybe getting like 21, 20 points against this defense, 21, somewhere around there. The Detroit Lions could probably get about like 30-something. So with that being said, I would say like 32 points for the Lions. I think they can get somewhere around there. And then the Commanders got 21, 20. So I'll probably take the under on the 55.5. So far I got the under on both games. All right, so Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. This one's kind of big. Some people have the Vikings going to the Eagles. Clearly, I have the Eagles beating the Rams. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. The Vikings had their holes, while the Eagles, man, I just think they're just the Eagles. Even if I think Hurts is not even a top 10 quarterback, you can win a Super Bowl with him in the sense that you got all the weapons in the world. You got the offensive line. You got the running back who's practically MVP Offensive Player of the Year. You got the defensive coordinator with the defense that's the best in the league next to the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, it's the whole package when it comes to the Eagles. And if they lose this game, I would be rather shocked. I really would, just because the Rams have their offensive issues a little bit. I know they didn't show it too much against the Vikings, but the Vikings didn't help their defense at all. Sam Darnold didn't help them at all. And at some point, your defense, no matter how good, is going to cave if your offense does nothing. If your offense does nothing and the defense is just constantly out there all the time, your defense is going to end up looking like shit and probably the worst in the entire league. So that's kind of what I think happened with the Vikings. The Vikings just couldn't do it on offense, and it just hindered their defense. Now, the Eagles, on the other hand, I think the Eagles will definitely be able to stump the Rams a little bit more, hold them down to maybe a lot less points than what the Rams end up getting in the end. And the Eagles, I think at this point, will probably just need to score like 21 to 24 points to beat the Rams. Because the Rams versus good defenses have not played very well. And if the Eagles on offense don't make mistakes, if Jalen Hurts just doesn't make any mistakes, this Eagles team will win, and I think will win by double digits. I'm serious. I truly think that. They just got the whole package. Rams just have to got the holes. 6.5 points. I'm actually surprised it's not a little bit higher, but I understand there's a lot of hype right now with the Rams. I will take the over on the 6.5 for sure. I understand the Philadelphia Eagles didn't play very well against the Packers, and the Packers are kind of in it a little bit, but the difference with that is it's their first wild card game back, first game for Hurts being back, and knocking off a little bit of rust for Hurts kind of was a big deal. Honestly, that was the thing that was holding back that offense a little bit was Hurts. And if Hurts, like I said, can just get back to mid-form, if he can get back to a top 15, top 10 quarterback in between there, this team will win a lot. Because he did not play like a top 15 quarterback. He played like a bottom 10 quarterback versus Packers and held back that squad. So if that can happen, this team will definitely get double-digit points. I got the Eagles winning this game as of right now. Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. This is the game of Wild Card Weekend. This is the game. Who is going to face the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game? That's what everyone's thinking about this. You and I right now, whoever's looking at the camera right now, looking right at me, you and I both know whoever wins this game will play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's how we're looking at it right now. That is the narrative. Whoever wins this game has the job of beating the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. That's how we're approaching it. This is a big deal. And whoever you want to win this game is who you think will beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's how we're seeing it. Whoever you think, do you think the Bills will have a better chance or the Ravens will have a better chance? And that's who you're going for. That's who you're going for. Unless you're a Bills fan, unless you're a Ravens fan. Outside of that, that's the narrative. And what's really crazy about this is tight. No one knows who's really going to win this game. It is a 1-point game. Literally, anyone can do this. Baltimore is favored by half a point. Sorry, by a point. And the only reason why that is the case here is because the Baltimore Ravens have significantly more than the Buffalo Bills. What the Bills have is they have an defense and they have weapons and Josh Allen. Good offensive line, one of the best, top 5 offensive line. Don't get me wrong. James Cook is not that bad. Definitely a top 10 running back in the league for sure. I don't know about top 5, but could be. You could argue it, right? But the Baltimore Ravens have the top, at least a top 2 running back, and you have an insane threat running back in Lamar Jackson. Obviously, you could tell in the playoffs he was not afraid to run the ball, and that being the main priority. Main priority against the Steelers was Lamar being the running quarterback and Derrick Henry being running of the ball. That was the huge thing there. It wasn't passing the ball. And then taking advantage of that, there is a huge situation advantage for the Baltimore Ravens in this game. The only thing that I feel like is holding back this Ravens team against the Bills is not just Josh Allen and his incredible ability to make plays all the fucking time with bum-ass players out there. I say bum in the aspect of like he doesn't have like bona fide top 5 weapons anywhere. He doesn't have bona fide top 10, I don't even think. I don't think Shakir's even that good. He's good, but I don't think he's that good. Right? The Ravens have it all. They have a great defense. They have the great weapons. They're on a roll. They're feeling themselves. They just got done destroying a divisional opponent, which we all know divisional games are harder. If I had to think on the top of my head who I think is going to win this game, the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens will win this game. That's why I got on top of my head. Is it going to be a one-score game, 1-point game? Maybe. But if you looked at this from a logical standpoint, Lamar has all the weapons in the world, has a great offensive line, has 2 great elite tight ends, in my opinion. Bateman, who's really, really good. I understand Flowers is out. And you got Derrick fucking Henry. So you got everything is set up for Lamar. The only thing that you can question, I feel like, in this scenario is, like I said, Josh Allen doing his thing, doing incredible things. Compared to Lamar, are we going to see a Lamar, our typical Lamar in the playoffs quarterback? Because I understand that last week against the Steelers, he dominated, but he didn't do it passing the ball. He did not do that passing the ball. He did it running the ball. And we all saw that. And the Steelers could do nothing about it. They had no answers. I feel like the Bills will have answers. I think they will do a lot better against that situation. So can Lamar overcome his playoff woes? Can he win 2 straight playoff games? Can he do it? This is big. This is big for Lamar. The biggest question mark right now is Lamar Jackson in this game, in my opinion. What kind of Lamar are you going to get? If you get a great Lamar who's in the regular season Lamar, MVP Lamar, then this game will be dominated. And the Bills will probably lose by more than a point. I'll tell you that much. More than a field goal. Maybe a 1-score game, but it'll probably be like 7 points. If Lamar could play like his MVP self like he does in the regular season. But if we get playoff Lamar from the previous years, this game, I feel like we'll go to the Buffalo Bills. I truly do think that. So the over-under is going to be 51 points. Would I take the over or the under on this? I'm going to take the over. Like, easily take the over. I'm not even going to second guess this. Okay, this is going to be a high-scoring game. When was the last time Baltimore played Buffalo? That's a good question. It was this year, and Baltimore fucking obliterated the Ravens, dude. That's right. I totally forgot about that. 35-10. However, that was early on in the year, and we all know that early on games are not always the same as new games, as playoff games, and we all know that. So this could be different. This could be a outlier, but my God, let's look at the stats real quick. Josh Allen was 16 for 29, 180 yards. I know Allen did not get off to a great start. I do know that. A lot of quarterbacks didn't get off in a great start this year. There's actually a narrative going on. Like, what the fuck's happening with quarterbacks? And, like, should they play preseason? Is that the reason why? I know that was a conversation. So this could just be a huge outlier right now because Josh Allen didn't get, like, really going until later on in the season. Not later on, but, like, a couple games later. 60 for 29, 180 yards. James Cook, 9 for 39, 4.3 yards a carry. They have Josh Allen, who has 4.2 yards a carry, so they're obviously not have no real trouble running the ball. It's not great, but still good. Josh Allen didn't play very well. He dished the ball to so many people, but Kincaid was his number one target here, it seems, next to Shakir. Coleman, a couple shots to him. The defense for the Bills, they were able to sack Lamar Jackson at least one time from what I see here, which is pretty good for a mobile, against a mobile quarterback. As for Lamar Jackson, 13 for 18, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, the narrative of a quarterback's not playing very well from the start. But Derrick Henry, 24 carries, 199 yards, 8.3 yards a carry, and a tutty. That is crazy. And he has a receiving touchdown, Derrick Henry does. Ravens have the best run defense in the league. And then the Bills have the 12th ranked rushing defense with 115.5 yards on average allowed. Their playoff average, though, is 79, even though it's just one game, so you can't really say that. Rushing TDs allowed, they've allowed 13. Ravens have allowed 12. So it's a little bit – the Ravens have a very good rushing defense. So it looks like – when was this updated last? It was January 14th. I'll share the tab with you guys so you guys can see it. So this was the tab. This is the passing defense. Total defense here. We'll look at the passing ones instead. All right, so passing, Bills and Ravens. I'm having a brain fart. Jesus Christ. Ravens have the 31st passing defense in the fucking league. Oh my God, 244 on average. The Bills are 24th, 226, while they're really good at stopping the run. And the Ravens are more of a running team than a passing team. And the Ravens don't have Flowers. This is going to be a passing game, guys. If I'm a defensive coordinator, if I'm the offensive coordinator, man, I'm attacking with the passing game. And I trust the Bills in the passing game way more than the Ravens. Damn, dude. 27 passing touchdowns allowed, which is more than the 49ers. Bills have 28. Oh, my God. We're going to see a passing game for sure. That's wild, guys. That's wild. But it looks like it's going to be a passing game against the Ravens and Bills. If I was offensive coordinator, that's how I'd approach it. 31st in passing for the Ravens. That is fucking crazy. 31st in passing defense. That's wild. I never would have guessed that. I'm not going to lie to you. I never would have guessed that in a million years. Maybe mid, but 31st. As for the Bills, they're 24th? Yeah, it was 24th for the Bills. So we're going to see a passing game, guys. This is going to be a high-scoring game. So let's go back to what I said on my over-under. I'm definitely taking the over. I already said I was definitely taking the over before. I'm sticking to my guns. This is going to be a passing game like crazy. So that's wild. That's wild. Ravens, though, have the best run defense in the league. So if the Ravens could just focus on the passing more, give up a little bit on the rushing, not like obviously just give it a complete let Cook run, but obviously scheme up a lot more focus on the passing game than the run game. Like if they gave up 100 yards, that's okay, but as long as they helped out the pass defense a little bit more, I think the Ravens could do it, but I don't see that happening, man. 31st in passing defense is wild. That is absolutely wild. That game is going to be a bloodbath. Niners, 110%. I'm excited about it, dude. I am super, 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 super excited about that game. That's going to be my favorite game of the wild card weekend. And the narrative for that one is whoever wins that game is going to face the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That's the narrative for that one, for sure. So those are the odds heading into the divisional round. Let me know who you guys got. What's your over? What is your under? I'll end up probably making a video about this another time later down in the future. Kind of like when I did the must wins. I'll probably do the same thing maybe Thursday or tomorrow. I'll do like must win segment. Or I might do that with Poggy on the Wolfie and Poggy show on Friday. But look forward to that. Have my must win players of each team. In each game. Who needs the most, right? And we'll go through that. But that's who I got for the odds of the game.